You know what the best way to beat the competition is? Yeah, that's right. Copy them.
Wonder Woman kinda sucked. I mean, I guess it was an improvement over Suicide Squad, but is that really saying much in the end? Now, before anyone gets pissed off in the comments, I just want to make it clear that the kind of films I enjoy are the ones that take risks, while at the same time deliver a well-written story with memorable characters. Not films that blatantly copy the competition in order to stay afloat. I remember way back when the Dark Knight trilogy was over, I said to myself, if Christopher Nolan is done making Batman films, chances are I'm probably going to be done watching new Batman films. At the time, that made me sound like a Christopher Nolan fanboy, but I said that because I thought the next people who would work on the Batman franchise would be less concerned about making a good movie, and more concerned about making money. Well, guess what happened? It's pretty obvious that DC and Warner Brothers want nothing more than to make films that feel like every other film that you've seen before. I mean, think about it. What was the big complaint with Man of Steel? It tried to be the next Batman Begins, but with Superman and failed miserably. What about Suicide Squad? Well, aside from the shitty editing, it tried to be the dark, edgy version of Guardians of the Galaxy and failed. But what about Wonder Woman? Well, at first it feels like Thor by using Greek mythology as a backdrop and having its main character be a fish out of water character. And at the same time, it wants to be like the first Captain America film with its World War I setting. I mean, technically with Captain America it was World War II, but you get my point. This movie feels like the most generic thing I've seen in a while. I remember at one point in the film, there's a joke where Wonder Woman eats some ice cream and tells the person selling it something like, very good invention. You should be proud of yourself. I envy the person who could watch this scene and think, haha, that's so funny. She's not accustomed to Earth mannerisms. Because all I can think was, I've seen this movie before. It was called Thor.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
Or if you want to go even further back, Hercules in New York.
That is not Hercules. And who is that monster who looks as if he has come straight from the kingdom of the underworld?
Oh, no, this is a motion picture, a play. Really, you mustn't take yourself so seriously.
He doesn't even look like me.
The only real enjoyment that I got out of this film was the almost nude scene with Chris Pine where he jokes about his dick size. And it wasn't even because of the joke itself or the obvious fan service. It was because the dumbass parents in the theater took their really small kids to see this film despite the PG-13 rating. That totally made up for all the whining kids I had to deal with. I get that Hollywood's running out of ideas, but if you're gonna make a film that is so similar to so many other films, you gotta give me something different. Something unique, something that's worth remembering. And to be fair, this movie actually did have something going for it, but the film screwed this up so much that it turned the film from a boring experience to one of the most annoying films I've seen since Fantastic Beasts. And this is where I get into spoiler territory, so... Alright, so at the beginning of the movie, they tell the story of Ares, the god of war, and how he gave the human beings greed, hatred, and basically all of the negative traits that we have today. You know, I never noticed how similar Greek mythology is to Scientology. Anyways, it's established that if Ares is defeated, war and corruption in human beings will end. As the film goes on, it's hinted that these are just stories that the people on the island just made up. Then there's this great speech near the end that Chris Pine's character delivers about how war is not just embodied into one person, and that killing one person won't end all wars indefinitely. Our negative traits that causes such events to happen are just traits that we developed on our own and that we have to cope with. That's a pretty profound message, not just for a superhero film, but for a movie about World War I, the war that was said to end all wars. But the movie just completely shoots this message in the foot by having Ares be real the whole time. And as soon as Wonder Woman defeats him, the war just ends. Like that. Okay, so I guess our negative traits really were just given us by some guy in the sky. But at the very, very end of the film, when it cuts to present day, the movie tries to have its cake and eat it too by having Wonder Woman say, I have accepted the fact that humans will always have both good and bad inside of them. Ugh. Make up your fucking mind. Did we develop our negative traits over time and we're stuck with them forever? Or were they given to us by Professor Lupin from Harry Potter? Alright, this wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. But for a film that got so much praise just for being an improvement over Suicide Squad, I was expecting something a little more. If you're a fan of DC Comics that just wants a movie that's competently made at best, I honestly can't stop you, but at some point you're gonna want something better. It's that demand for higher quality that got us great films such as the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm not saying those films were perfect, but the whole reason why those films were made was because Joel Schumacher got cocky and thought we could accept whatever bullshit was on the screen just because it had Batman in it. And Christopher Nolan knew that the franchise was better than that. But unfortunately, he's too busy making films with way more potential, so instead we're stuck with the DC Cinematic Universe, which at this point is just the Pepsi to Marvel's Coke. I'll probably get some shit for making this video, but hey, even bad publicity can be good publicity. Right, Shia?
Bang, bang.
Hitler did nothing wrong.
Hey!
I'm still working on part 2 of my Transformers review, by the way. I just wanted to bitch about a different movie for a while.